You hear the name Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street, and you probably think of just insane wealth and excess. But now, almost 30 years after his whole empire blew up, there's this really fascinating question that hangs over him. Is the guy still rich, or is he actually broke? And this is where it gets weird. On one hand, you've got people estimating that his assets, his businesses, his whole earning potential could be worth over $100 million. But on the other hand, his efficient net worth is often calculated at negative $100 million. How can both of those things be true at the same time?
So, yeah, how is that even possible? Let's unpack this whole financial paradox piece by piece.
To get to the bottom of it, we have to understand that this is really a tale of two different fortunes. We've got to look at the incredible assets on one side of his ledger, and then the crushing debts on the other.
See, the answer isn't just a simple number. It's a story, really, in 3 acts. How he built his empire in the first place, how it all came crashing down, and maybe most importantly, how he's completely reinvented himself since then. All right, so first, let's rewind the clock. We've got to go back to the beginning to see how he built the Wolf's Den. To really get a situation now, we have to see how he made that first fortune.
You know, Belfort's early career was a total roller coaster. He clearly had a talent for sales from the jump, making 20 grand selling Italian ice. But he also went bankrupt at 25, trying to run a meat business. Then, after a short stint at a legit firm ended with him getting laid off after the 1987 market crash, he saw an opening, and at just 27 years old, he founded Stratton Oakmont. So what was Stratton Oakmont all about? Well, it was built on the infamous pump and dump scheme. To put it simply, it's a type of fraud where you hype up a stock you own with false info to drive the price way up, and then you sell all your shares for a massive profit right before it all collapses on everyone else. And what's just wild is how methodical it all was. Okay, so first, Belfort and his buddies would secretly buy up huge amounts of cheap penny stocks. Then, they'd unleash their army of brokers to pump the price up with high-pressure sales calls. They'd even stop their own clients from selling to keep that price artificially high. And finally, the dump. They'd sell off all their shares at the very top, making millions and leaving all their investors holding worthless stock. Of course, the movie made him a legend, right? But let's separate fact from fiction for a second. His co-founder denies the whole dwarf tossing thing ever happened. And get this, no one at the firm ever actually called him the Wolf. That was a nickname he made up for his book. But incredibly, the goldfish story, that's true. His co-founder admits he ate a broker's goldfish to make a point. The chimp in the office, though? Yeah, that was pure Hollywood. But you know, a party like that can't last forever. Now we've got to flip to the other side of the ledger. The bill comes due. And it is enormous. After years of the FBI sniffing around, the music officially stopped in 1999. Belfort was indicted for securities fraud and money laundering, and he eventually admitted his schemes cost investors something like $200 million. As part of his sentence, he was hit with a number that is just staggering. The court ordered him to pay over $110 million in restitution to the more than 1,500 people he defrauded. This, right here, is the source of that massive debt. So you're probably wondering, okay, $110 million. How much has he actually paid back? Well, as of early 2026, his victims have only gotten about $13 million. That leaves a hole of nearly $100 million still unpaid. And check this out. Where did that $13 million even come from? The huge majority of it, around $11 million, wasn't from Belfort's own pocket. It came from the government seizing and selling off his property. Only a tiny slice has come from the money he's actually earned since he got out of prison. Which brings us to a really key argument that his own legal team makes. Despite his very public comeback, his attorney has literally argued in court that he's cash-strapped and just can't afford to make bigger payments to his victims. So, a cash-strapped guy. Right. This brings us to his modern-day reinvention, which is where the paradox really kicks into high gear. How can a supposedly broke guy afford a second act that looks this wealthy? After prison, Belfort didn't just fade away. Oh no, he built a whole new empire. He wrote those best-selling books. He became a motivational speaker who can pull in up to $200,000 for a single speech. And now he sells his straight-line sales system to huge corporations. And all that income, it pays for a lifestyle that does not scream cash-strapped. We're talking multiple properties, a whole collection of luxury cars, even yachts. This is the lifestyle that fuels that plus $100 million potential net worth we talked about at the start.
He's been incredibly successful at rebranding himself as this guru of sales and motivation. I mean, just listen to this quote from a major CEO. It shows you how powerful that rebranding has been. He's sold as a redemption story, a guy with world-class expertise.
Okay, so let's land the plane. We've seen the assets and the income. We've seen the massive debt. It's time to put it all together and finally answer our big question.
So is he rich? Well, in one sense, yeah, absolutely. He makes millions of dollars a year and lives a lifestyle that pretty much anyone would call incredibly wealthy.
But, and this is a huge but, on paper, the answer is a hard no. That nearly $100 million debt he still owes to his victims means his official net worth is deep in the red. A liability that big just wipes out whatever assets he has.
And that, right there, is the real, nuanced answer. He's what you call cash flow rich. A ton of money flows through his hands, and that's what pays for the fancy lifestyle. But he is not net worth rich, which is what you own minus what you owe. With that massive debt on the books, his balance sheet is technically broken. Every dollar he makes is still overshadowed by the fortune he owes to his victims.
Which leaves us with this one final thought. The guy lives like a king, but he has the balance sheet of someone who's bankrupt. It really makes you ask a bigger question. In a world of complicated finances and legal gray areas, what does it even mean to be rich?